Walking through the front door, the scent of Captain Crunch hits me immediately. It's 6 in the evening. My stomach churns as I set down my overnight bag in our cramped entryway. Maddie!
Muksh!
I shout, my voice bouncing off the walls of our small suburban ranch home. Their matching voices float back from the kitchen, mixed with the sound of spoons clinking against bowls. I push past a mountain of unfolded clothes piled on the dining table, breathing through my nose to block out the stale smell. The twins sit at our worn kitchen counter, still wearing their wrinkled St. Augustine's elementary uniforms, homework scattered around their cereal bowls where soggy yellow squares float in milk. Hey, you two. I mess up Max's constantly disheveled hair, noticing the dark shadows under Maddie's eyes. It's been a long day, Maddie mumbles without looking up from her math worksheet. Her pencil moves in tight, frustrated circles. Mom promised she'd be back for dinner. The cafeteria served fish sticks today, Max adds, scrunching his nose. We couldn't stomach them. Opening the refrigerator reveals the usual scene, mostly condiments and a nearly empty milk carton. The freezer contains only ice trays and some forgotten popsicles. My chest constricts as I think about the grocery money Mom promised to send while I'm home from community college for the weekend. Let me check something upstairs, then we'll get pizza delivered, I say, the words feeling like surrender. That $20 was meant for gas money. The twins brighten up, but I'm already climbing toward Mom's bedroom, my fingers finding the house key in my pocket, the duplicate I made last summer without her knowledge, for situations exactly like this. Mom's room carries the vanilla fragrance she's worn since I turned 12, back when Dad left and she started pulling double shifts at the hospital. That's when I first learned to prepare mac and cheese independently, review homework, and become the dependable one. The safe sits tucked away in her closet, concealed behind her collection of medical scrubs. My hands tremble as I enter the combination, my birth date, because Mom claimed she'd never forget something so important. Inside, hidden behind insurance documents and Dad's abandoned wedding band, should be the envelope containing $8,000 in crisp hundreds. Grandma's college fund for me. Money designated for next semester's textbooks and my portion of campus apartment rent. My fingers find cold metal and empty space. Nothing. The room seems to tilt as I call Mom's cell phone, each ring stretching endlessly. Hi, sweetheart. Her voice sounds unusually cheerful. I'm having dinner with my work friends. Is everything all right? The safe. My voice breaks. Grandma's envelope. Where did it go? Silence hangs between us, heavy with unspoken blame. The heating system failed last month, she finally responds, her tone clipped. Emergencies happen, Samantha. You've never dealt with actual bills. That was my education money. The words scrape against my throat. Grandma designated it for school. And I left you grocery money, didn't I? A man's deep laughter echoes behind her. Listen, I can't discuss this now. We'll sort it out later. Mom, the line dies. I collapse onto her bed, the springs groaning beneath me. On her nightstand, a bank statement peeks out from under a fashion magazine. My hand moves instinctively, pulling it free. Spa treatments, concert tickets, a Nordstrom charge that could have covered 2 months of textbooks. My phone vibrates. A text from Max. Mom told us not to mention Vegas to Sam. The words become blurry as memories flood back. Missing my National Honor Society induction because Maddie had strep throat. Declining the National Science Foundation summer program because no one else could supervise the twins. Mom's honey-sweet voice. You're the responsible one, honey. I can count on you. Count on me? What a cruel joke. Downstairs, I hear Maddie helping Max with multiplication tables, their voices carrying the same patient tone I used when teaching them years ago. They shouldn't need to mature so quickly. Not like I did. I stare at the empty safe, the bank statement crumpled in my shaking hands, the text glowing on my screen. The decision spreads before me like a vast canyon. Confront the woman who raised me, or walk away in silence. But silence, I realize as my knuckles turn white around the paper, isn't truly an option anymore. I stand, smoothing Mom's bedspread with mechanical movements, the same way I've been smoothing over her absences, broken promises, and selective memory my entire life. My existence reduced to covering her mistakes. Walking downstairs, I hear Max giggle at something Maddie said. The sound, pure, bright, and heartbreakingly innocent. I pause in the doorway, watching them hunched over their assignments, heads close together, still naive enough to believe in promises. My phone feels weighted in my hand as I open the search function. Legal guardianship requirements, Ohio State. One of us needs to be the adult here, and it clearly won't be her. An hour passes. The bank statement drifts from my fingers to Mom's bedroom carpet like funeral confetti. Below, the twins laugh at some cartoon, the sound cutting through the haze in my mind. I bend down, my hand shaking as I retrieve the paper. The numbers swim before my eyes. $479 at Nordstrom, $289 at Blue Lagoon Spa, $750 at the Mirage Hotel, Las Vegas. My phone rings. Uncle Mark's name appears on the screen. Your mother contacted me, he says without introduction. Claims you were questioning her about money. The college fund is missing. The words rasp from my throat. She blamed it on the furnace. A heavy sigh crackles through the connection. Sam, there's something you should know. Your father has been mailing child support payments every month since he departed. The room spins sideways. I grip Mom's vanity edge, my knuckles white against the wood. How much? $800 per child. Should have covered food, school supplies, clothing. The cereal bowls downstairs, the wrinkled uniforms, Max's shoes held together with duct tape. That's impossible. But even as I speak, memories flash through my mind. Mom's new designer handbags, weekend getaways with her work friends, the constant takeout when she bothered coming home. I stayed silent too long, Uncle Mark admits. But after what happened with the trust fund, listen, I have copies of all the canceled checks. Every single one. The bedroom door creaks. I spin around to find Linda, Mom's best friend, frozen in the doorway holding a laundry basket. Oh, Samantha, dear, I didn't realize you were home. Her eyes dart to the bank statement in my hand. Your mother asked me to collect some things while she's out with Derek. The name leaves a bitter taste. Mom's new boyfriend, always lurking at the edges of our lives with his expensive timepiece and calculating grin. Linda shifts the basket, avoiding my gaze. Listen, about that loan she took from the college fund 6 months ago. I told her she needed to repay it before you discovered it. Loan. The word echoes in my head. 6 months ago. Linda retreats, her face pale. I shouldn't have. Just forget I mentioned anything. But I'm already moving, yanking open Mom's desk drawer. Credit card statements spill out, some still sealed. My fingers tear through envelope after envelope. Store names leap out like accusations. Tiffany & Company, Saks Fifth Avenue, first-class tickets to Miami. My phone chimes with a text from Mrs. Patterson next door. Been meaning to tell you that spare room above my garage is yours if you need it. No questions asked. Before I can respond, an email notification appears from my college advisor. Emergency financial aid appointment available tomorrow at 9 a.m. Let's explore your options. The front door slams downstairs. Heavy footsteps on the stairs, accompanied by a voice I've learned to dread. Susan, babe, you up there? Derek appears in the doorway, his usual smirk fading when he sees me surrounded by years of documented theft. Well, his tone shifts to something slippery. Going through Mommy's private documents? Pretty ungrateful, after everything she's sacrificed for you. I rise slowly, credit card statements clenched in my fist. Everything she sacrificed? Like the child support checks she never spent on us? Or my grandmother's college fund she's been draining for months? His expression hardens. You're turning those kids against their mother, fabricating stories because you can't handle not being the center of attention anymore. Get out. The words emerge sharp as broken glass. Or what? He steps closer, using his height to intimidate me. You'll run to Daddy? Oh wait, he didn't want you either. My phone's sharp ring cuts through the tension. Emma's mom, her voice warm and steady. Honey, we have the guest room prepared whenever you need it. No time restrictions. Derek sneers, playing victim to anyone who'll listen. I meet his stare, my voice unwavering. No, I'm finished playing anything. Downstairs, I hear the twins singing along to their show, voices clear and innocent. They deserve better than cereal for dinner and broken promises. My laptop sits open on Mom's bed, the screen displaying an emergency student loan application. But beside it lies Grandma's old jewelry box, the antique pieces inside worth enough for first month's rent and security deposit. The choice crystallizes like ice in my chest. I access my bank's website, fingers flying over the keys as I open a new account. One Mom can access, one that will hold the proceeds from Grandma's sapphire pendant and pearl earrings. Derek watches from the doorway, his smirk returning. She'll never sign your FAFSA if you do this. Kiss that fancy education goodbye. Maybe. I close the laptop with a snap, but the twins will have dinner tonight. Real dinner. As I head downstairs, clutching Grandma's jewelry box, my phone lights up with one final message. A photo from Uncle Mark, Grandma's old Bible, and tucked inside its pages, a safety deposit box key I never knew existed. Sometimes inheritance isn't about money at all. It's about finally seeing the truth. The next day, Facebook glows blue in the darkness of my dorm room. Mom's latest post fills my screen. Sometimes the people who hurt you most are the ones you gave everything to protect. Praying my daughter remembers her family values. 27 sympathetic comments, 12 heart reactions, 3 shares. My finger hovers over the keyboard, throat tight with unspoken truths. But before I can type, a knock at my door sends me scrambling to close the laptop. Package delivery. Derek's voice slides through the crack under my door like oil. My heart pounds against my ribs. Mom's boyfriend should know my dormitory address. I grab my phone, already dialing campus security. Come on, Samantha. His knuckles rap again, harder. Just trying to help fix this mess between you and your mother. The dispatcher answers. I whisper my location, backing away from the door. You're making Susan sick with worry. Wood creaks under his weight. Those kids need their big sister. Max cried at breakfast yesterday. The mention of my brother's name ignites something molten in my chest. The twins need stability. I call out, voice steady despite my trembling hands. They need more than cereal for dinner and empty promises. Listen here. A footstep in the hallway cuts him off. My resident advisor's voice, then campus security. Derek's shoes squeak against linoleum as he retreats. My phone buzzes with a text from Mom. Your siblings won't come to my birthday if you don't stop poisoning them against me. I sink onto my bed, springs creaking under the weight of choices I never wanted to make. The twin school photos smile at me from my desk, bright eyes, matching dimples. Trust one can't betray. My academic advisor's voice echoes from yesterday's meeting. Samantha, your research proposal on cellular regeneration is exceptional. Professor Williams specifically requested you as her assistant. The position would cover next semester's tuition. A step toward medical school, toward freedom. Another buzz. Mom again. Remember when you were little and promised to always take care of us? What happened to my responsible girl? The words blur as I remember last week's conversation with the campus counselor. She leaned forward, gentle but firm. There's a term for what you experienced, parentification. It's a form of emotional abuse. I'd argued, defending Mom's choices, single parent, difficult life. But the counselor had simply opened a folder, showing me patterns I'd been too close to see. Grandma's safety deposit box, key feels cold against my palm. I found it yesterday tucked into her Bible with a letter I've already memorized. My dearest Samantha, if you're reading this, you've finally seen what I've watched happening since you were 12. The way Susan uses your strength against you, your love as a weapon. I always knew you'd need protection from her good intentions. The second account is yours alone. She can't touch it. Use it wisely, my love. Grandma Rose. Easter Gathering. The annual Rivers Family Easter Gathering looms tomorrow. Mom's territory, her rules. But this time, I have my own strategy. Uncle Mark calls that evening. Your mother's telling everyone you're having a breakdown. His voice carries decades of resignation. Claims the stress of college made you paranoid. Are you believing her? The question emerges sharp enough to cut. Silence stretches between us. Then, not anymore. I've watched her do this for 20 years, running up Susan's credit cards, enabling her emergencies. I should have spoken up sooner. Better late than never. I open my laptop, pulling up the legal documents I've spent weeks preparing. I need a favor. The next afternoon, sunlight streams through stained glass as relatives fill Grandma's old church. Mom holds court near the punch bowl, voice carrying. Such a shame when children turn against their mothers. I step through the door. Conversations stutter to silence. Samantha. Mom's arms open wide, performance perfect. My responsible girl, home at last. The old me would have folded into that embrace, accepted the role of prodigal daughter. But that script burned with the empty envelope in her safe. Let's talk about responsibility. My voice cuts through the manufactured cheer. About 12-year-olds cooking dinner while their mothers are at bars. About college funds disappearing into Nordstrom bags. About Vegas trips while the twins eat Captain Crunch for dinner. You're obviously upset. Mom's smile wavers. We can discuss this privately. No. The word rings like a bell. No more private discussions. No more secrets. I pull out my phone, scrolling through screenshots. Would you like to explain these credit card statements to everyone, or should I? Derek steps forward, shoulders squaring. That's enough. Back off. Uncle Mark's hand lands on Derek's shoulder. The girl's talking. Mrs. Patterson, our neighbor of 15 years, moves to stand beside me. I've documented every night those children were left alone, every time Samantha had to leave her college classes to handle an emergency you created. Mom's face drains of color. You can't. I filed for legal guardianship of the twins yesterday. My hands don't shake anymore. The hearing's next week. I have character witnesses, financial records, and school documentation. I'm their mother, and I'm their sister, the one who actually shows up. The room spins with whispers and exchanged glances. Cousins step back. The facade of family loyalty cracks like thin ice. Later in my car, Uncle Mark hands me a thick envelope. Bank statements, tax records, everything they'll need to see the pattern. My phone lights up. A message from Mom's friend Linda. Susan's talking about moving to Florida, taking the twins. The steering wheel warms under my grip as I start the engine. One more card to play. I didn't expect it so soon, but I'm not 12 anymore. And this time, I'm ready. Professor Williams' business card sits in my wallet next to the court summons and Grandma's letter. Tomorrow I'll accept the research position, file the emergency custody papers, finally choose my own future. The twins are staying with Mrs. Patterson tonight. Safe. Protected. Loved. And for the first time in years, so am I. Later that evening, Mrs. Patterson's kitchen smells like coffee and determination. Stacks of paper cover her formica table, each pile a testament to my mother's failures. Bank statements, school absence records, photos of the twins eating cereal for dinner while wearing wrinkled uniforms. The evidence of a childhood stolen, a family broken by one person's selfishness. But also the foundation for something new, a future where love doesn't come with conditions, where responsibility isn't a burden placed on the shoulders of children. I'm not just saving the twins. I'm saving myself. Sweet tea? Mrs. Patterson offers, her weathered fingers gripping a delicate china teacup from her bridal collection. No, I appreciate it. I return to examining another stack of credit statements. My yellow marker highlighting each questionable transaction. The court must witness this behavior pattern. The doorbell rings. Emma's mom, Barbara, enters carrying a hefty manila folder. Her gray hair shimmers in the morning sunshine as she takes a seat next to me. The school guidance counselor delivered. Barbara pushes a document across the surface. Records of every instance the children arrived without meal funds or adequate winter clothing. My chest constricts as I review the entries. December 2024. Maddie wearing thin sneakers in snow. February 2025. 3 consecutive days without lunch. March. Both children dozing off during lessons after another evening left unattended. The rear entrance squeaks. Uncle Mark enters from the workshop, his work clothes stained with oil. Your mom's at the office today. He places a sign-in sheet on the stack. Yet this shows she's reported illness 12 times since January while sharing photos from Atlantic City. I open Mom's social profiles on my device. The timestamps align with her recent sick leave. My cell phone rings. Derek's contact. Listen closely, you selfish little brat. His tone drips with manufactured sympathy. Your mother suffers anxiety attacks because of your actions. Abandon this custody foolishness, and we'll compensate you handsomely. Compensate me. The phrase tastes metallic. Like when you persuaded her to drain my education savings. $10,000. Papers shuffle on his side. Payment tonight. Simply sign these documents stating you're withdrawing the petition. I disconnect. My hands tremble. Mrs. Patterson grips my shoulder firmly. He's frantic, she observes. They're all desperate. The proof spreads across the table like war strategy. Uncle Mark's records of Mom's phantom overtime never reflected in her paychecks. Mrs. Patterson's daily notes tracking when the children returned to an vacant house. The school medical reports of missed prescriptions and unsigned forms. Tomorrow brings the hearing. Barbara glances at her timepiece. We should practice your statement once more. Actually, I retrieve my journal, its pages filled with preparation. I must visit the medical facility first. At the hospital, 2 hours afterward, Mom's supervisor meets me in the dining area. Her expression is serious. I wish you'd spoken up earlier, Samantha. We've been tracking missing pharmaceuticals for months. She claimed the additional hours were for my education fund. The words scraped my throat raw. Additional hours. The supervisor's gaze sharpens. Susan hasn't logged overtime since previous summer, yet she's been recording time. The last component falls into position back at Mrs. Patterson's residence. Emma assists me in arranging the remaining proof. Her attorney father labeled each piece with colored markers, constructing our argument like a stronghold. They're claiming you have psychological problems. Emma's voice wavers, that you're unbalanced. Let them try. I organized the recommendations from my instructors, my employment supervisors, the children's educators. Each one detailing my dependability, my maturity, my unwavering care for my siblings. My device illuminates with Maddie's message. Mom's weeping in her bedroom. Claims we'll need to relocate with Aunt Carol if you don't cease. Aunt Carol resides in a one-room flat in Cincinnati. I inform Emma she's intolerant of children. Additional manipulation. Emma arranges another stack. Did you notice Derek removed his social media after that photograph emerged? I access the image. Derek at a gambling establishment. My mother clinging to his arm. The timestamp corresponds with the day she alleges she attended a nursing seminar. The children's school administrator contacted this morning. Her tone remained controlled. Those kids have been tardy 26 times this term. Yet whenever they're in your care, they arrive punctually. My phone vibrates once more.
Mom, please.
Her voice fractures. You're destroying this family. I've made errors, but I remain your mother. The familiar shame surfaces. Thick haze, yet beneath it I hear Max's voice requesting meal money. Observe Maddie's tiny footwear. Experience the burden of years functioning as the sole adult in a household full of children. You're correct. My voice remains calm. You are my mother, which is precisely why you should have shielded us. The connection ends. Evening arrives. Mrs. Patterson prepares broth while Barbara examines my testimony one final time. Uncle Mark delivers copies of Mom's financial records revealing child support funds that never reached us. The magistrate decided on a comparable case last month. Barbara stirs her beverage. Awarded custody to a 22-year-old brother. The situation wasn't nearly as convincing as yours. My device lights up with an unfamiliar number. Derek's attorney threatening slander lawsuits. I block it without replying. Rest well. Mrs. Patterson embraces me with arms that smell of powder and security. Tomorrow's significant. Yet as I lie in her spare bedroom, gazing at the ceiling, another message arrives. This from Mom's closest friend, Linda. I'm deeply sorry, dear. I should have spoken years ago. If you require testimony about the Las Vegas excursions, the remaining fragments of my mother's pretense crumble like dust. Dawn brings additional messages. Medical staff offering statements. Neighbors documenting evenings they heard the children crying. Even Derek's former spouse sharing accounts of comparable financial manipulations. My mother's carefully built world of deception collapses under truth's weight. The courthouse towers ahead, its stone stairs worn by countless justice seekers. Inside my bag, the evidence feels weighty as stone. Beside me, Mrs. Patterson smooths her church dress. Barbara adjusts her jewelry. Uncle Mark's work boots echo on marble. I consider the children safe at school, awaiting news of their destiny. Of my depleted education fund and hollow pledges. Of countless nights I tucked them in while Mom pursued fantasies that excluded us. The officer appears at the massive wooden entrance. River's custody hearing. My support team rises. We enter the courtroom like warriors advancing into battle, armed with nothing except truth. My mother occupies the opposite side. Makeup already streaked. Derek's seat remains vacant. The judge will announce her verdict in 24 hours. Yet knowing my mother, recognizing the escalation pattern that's characterized my entire existence, I prepare myself. Her ultimate, desperate action approaches. I simply hope I possess sufficient strength to endure it. The bacon's crackling draws me from my textbook before my alarm sounds. Momentarily, I blink at the unfamiliar sight of sunrise streaming through our kitchen window. No crisis calls, no forgotten permission forms. Simply Max at the stove, his tongue protruding in focus as he turns another strip. "You're awake early," I mention, bookmarking my organic chemistry studies. He beams, proudly showing the space where his front tooth was. Maddie wagered I couldn't prepare breakfast without charring anything. I only burned 2 pieces. He arranges the bacon with surgical precision. I buried them beneath the perfect ones. From the hallway, Maddie's voice echoes. I detect burning. Absolutely not. Max responds, yet he's chuckling. I observe them navigate their morning dance. No longer the frightened children consuming cereal for supper. Maddie tests Max on science terms while braiding her hair. Max sharpens her art supplies in exchange for book report assistance. They move through our bright apartment like seasoned performers, vastly different from the turmoil of 2 years past. My phone buzzes. Mom's number. The old terror doesn't surface. I allow 2 rings, grounding myself in this moment. In the existence we've constructed. Hello, Samantha. Her voice sounds diminished these days. I realize it's early, but I wondered about my email regarding Saturday. I received it. I maintain neutral, professional tones. Like addressing one of my professors. 3 to 5 at the community center. Supervised meeting.
Correct.
She hesitates. I considered perhaps we could share ice cream afterward. All 4 of us. 2 years ago, that suggestion would have sent me scrambling to accommodate her, preserving the family harmony illusion. Now I think of the children's counseling sessions. They're gradually rebuilding confidence. Let's observe how the standard visit proceeds first, I respond. 1 step at a time. Naturally. Another pause. You sound transformed. More mature. The observation carries no bitterness now.
Simply fact.
I was going to say serene. From the kitchen, I hear Maddie announcing. Mom telephoned again yesterday evening. I informed her I had an exam to study for and couldn't converse. My chest fills with pride. 2 years ago, she would have abandoned everything to answer. I must depart, I tell Mom. The children have school.
Sam.
Her voice breaks. I truly regret everything. The money, the deception. Making you assume the parent role when you were merely a child yourself. The words I've awaited years to hear. They settle in my chest, not repairing the past, but providing groundwork for something fresh.
I understand, Mom.
I know you do. After disconnecting, I discover Mrs. Patterson's latest care package on our doorstep. Fresh pastries, still warm, and a card for my approaching graduation. She's inscribed, "To my honorary granddaughter," in her graceful handwriting. The aroma attracts the children like magnets. We gather at our small kitchen table, warming our hands on coffee and cocoa while sharing the pastries. My medical school acceptance letter hangs framed on the wall beside the children's honor certificates and the photograph of us with Emma's family last Thanksgiving. Professor Williams wants to confirm if you're still addressing the support group next week, Maddie mentions, carefully dividing her pastry into equal portions. I nod. The circle of metal folding chairs, the faces of other elder siblings forced prematurely into parental roles. Monthly, I witness them discovering their voices, learning to establish limits, exploring who they are beyond their family's requirements. Someone must inform them it's acceptable to rescue themselves, as you did, Max states quietly. As we all did. The morning sun paints our walls golden, catching the silver chain of grandmother's pendant around my neck. Inside, her photograph watches over us. Her final gift. Not the money Mom stole, but the courage to break free. My phone buzzes again. A text from my mentee in the Young Guardians program. Another teenager learning she doesn't need to bear her family's burdens alone. We should leave, I say, collecting empty dishes. You have music practice, and I have that meeting with state representatives about the inheritance protection legislation. The children pack their bags with practiced efficiency, then pause at the entrance. Maddie's hand finds mine, Max's fingers connecting with his sister's. A chain of survivors, stronger united. Ready? I ask, though I already know their response. They nod together, stepping into the morning light. Behind us, the apartment contains our reconstructed life. Homework scattered across tables, family photographs mixing biological and chosen relatives. The steady ticking of a clock marking peaceful moments instead of crisis countdowns. We walk toward the future. 3 silhouettes merging in the sunrise. Not the family we were born into, but the one we chose to create. The one we rescued. One boundary, one truth. One day at a time. Some claim blood runs thicker than water. Yet I've discovered it's love that truly connects. Not the obligatory variety, but the kind you battle for. The kind you select every single day. The love that permits you to save yourself so you can finally, truly save everyone else. And that creates all the difference